Hey, LibertyLaughs.net. This is a website that supports grassroots patriots, and it has all kinds of stuff in it, like rings, coins, t-shirts, tank tops, both in men's and women's sizes, different sort of accessories, even patriotic stuff. Like, look at these sneakers. Don't tread on me sneakers. Those are pretty cool. And door knockers. And look, they even have a Trump phone case, which is really, really cool. So anytime you go to this site, you're actually supporting the grassroots patriot community. So I hope you guys will go to check out LibertyLaughs.net and see what they have to offer.
All of us coming back. I cannot accept this fade to black, and the thought of the wasted dreams of a nation down on its knees. Is it already over? Tickets to the circus show. If you don't, then you'll never know. Take a stand while you have the time. Drown your fear and keep hope alive. Be the change that you want to see. Be the wrench inside the machine. Is it already over? Is it already over? I don't think it's over.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Small Town Underground Show. It is Wednesday, July the 23rd, 2025. And tonight we're going to do just a little bit different. We're going to get loose, laid back a little bit. I got a couple of friends on the show tonight. I've been bugging them both for a while and trying to make something happen. But unfortunately, in the clown world that we live in, every week we're inundated with more theatrics. And so finally, just had the point. I'm like, you know what? Everybody out there is hot and bothered, and we're all just inundated. So tonight we're just going to maybe take a semi-break from that, right? Just kind of chill out a little bit, have some fun. So tonight I want to welcome two people, both near and dear to me. I worked with both of these people for a long time. We've known each other. We've been down to the Capitol together. We've been supporting each other's work. And so I wanted to bring them on the show tonight. And we have our guest with us, Anthony Smatterchew, and we're going to get into that on him for a minute. In just a second, to kind of give you guys, my audience, a chance to meet him. He's got a big social media presence, especially around TikTok, Snapchat, and kind of cool things that he does. Very cool cat. We've been on a lot of good phone calls together. Very good thinker, free thinker. And we also are joined by Lisa Adams, the relentless Lisa Adams from Whitfield County, one of my close friends and confidants. She's out there all over the place, a very big activist in her own right, and we love Lisa. So I finally told her, I didn't even give her a choice. I said, you got to come on the show tonight with us. So she's here. So welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you
Yeah, you're a little
for
nervous.
allowing us to come and hang out with you, Roy.
That's fine. You're a little nervous, but
I am.
you'll be fine in a little bit. So
Oh yeah.
for starters, while I finish getting everything set up, Lisa, tell the audience we got a lot of new people that continually subscribe. I'm having people reach out from Illinois and like different places that I know are not bots. I do my own research on them, and it's like wow. So we're starting to branch out a little bit in other states. So tell everybody who you are and what you do. How'd you get into all this?
So I have been in the fight since 2020. I knew before then that things were happening and a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with, right? But I didn't really dig into anything. And, COVID happened in March of 2020. Everybody was home, everybody was quarantined, everybody stay home, stay home. So I was shopping on Amazon. I bought a bunch of Trump stuff, decided that, hey, had to go vote for Marjorie in the Marjorie John Calvin runoff.
That's right.
And I wore my Trump hat and a Trump shirt. And it wasn't like a shirt that said just Trump. And my hat said Trump 2020.
That's right. It's
And
a
I
good
go
story.
in. Yep. I go in and they meet me at the door and tell me you can't wear that to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a fire in me that never went out. And I'm still chugging right along with the,
I do remember that.
And in this
I mean, that's
election,
how it
Trump
started.
was not on the ballot, right?
Trump was not on the ballot, and they
That
did
that was
admit they
the,
were
that was the
wrong.
key thing to know in this.
And
Mm-hmm.
and there were folks that said it was an honest mistake, and I understand that it could have been an honest mistake. But in the times that we live in and the way that things are right
Yeah.
now, I don't know that a lot of that is a mistake. You understand what
Well,
I'm saying?
how
Like
come it's
I
always a
can't wrap
mistake
my
on the
head
wrong
around that and
side?
be okay with that.
Right. It's always a mistake on the wrong side, right? It's never a
Yes,
mistake on the other side, right?
right.
Right.
Yeah. So you've been in this for a long time. A lot of people know you go down to Atlanta. You've been to a lot of stuff. You've worked with the Front Row Joes. You've obviously a big Trump supporter. We got
Yes,
MTG on the map. We've got two of the strongest reps in the South. Colton Moore, Margie Taylor Greene. Made some real
yes,
changes in it, and we never stop, right? We just keep
right.
going, no matter how crazy it gets. So, well, yeah,
Yes, and
go ahead.
well, I mean, I did what they told me to do.
Hmm.
They wanted me to turn my shirt inside out, and I did. I took my hat off.
Sounds like a fish fry.
Um,
I remember.
Yeah, right. This was like pre-fish fry, so I was screaming this, a couple of years before the fish fry, and when I saw the fish fry, I was like, "Holy no!"
Yeah.
Like y'all know what that feels like. It's just a little bit different because it was a vote.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I had tears rolling down my face. Like I didn't take it lightly. It wasn't like and I kind of made a big deal out of it, and I tried to show people that you know we're losing freedoms,
Yeah.
we are losing freedoms and we have been for a long time. And
Gosh.
that's pretty much what got me into it. And so I'm just going to continue doing what I do. I do a little bit of everything.
Yep. You do. You've got a heck of a presence on TikTok. You do a lot of videos. You're all over Facebook. You go and actually you do what we all should be doing nonstop, which is going to our commissioner meetings, our local meetings, filming as much as you can, getting people on camera, asking the right questions. We need so much more of that. I can't even keep track most of the time trying to get to this stuff. But you're out there, and you also come from a county that's got some of the smartest and brightest and most active activists around. I mean, really,
Mm-hmm.
I know I like to brag on Stacey Dorn a lot, but and one of these days we'll get her on the show. But it's just a powerhouse up there in Whitfield County. You guys have a lot going on up there, obviously, but
Yes.
we'll get into that sometime. But thank you for being on the show, Lisa. It's always a
Thank
pleasure.
you for having me.
So, Smatterchew, first off, you got to explain what Smatterchew is to the people out there. Where did it come
So Smatterchew is a name actually my grandfather came up with. Being an eloquent Southern man, he liked to cram a whole bunch of words together. And one of them, if there was wild dogs running across his land, was go fire off a shotgun and get on out from around here.
from?
And that
Hmm.
was get on out from around here. Well, one of the other ones, and suited me better was Smatterchew, which is what is the matter with you, just all
Right.
squished together. So you got this old Southern grandpa, basically, barking at his grandkids, Smatterchew boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of stuck. And I resurrected it, I guess, when I started on TikTok.
Right.
And TikTok, social media in general, was never something that I was drawn to. I used Facebook a little bit to keep up with some old Army buddies and so forth. But my daughter had sent me, at that time, from TikTok, you could send videos in a message form, but it was terrible video quality.
Right.
And she would send me videos of her teaching her dog how to do tricks. And I said, well, the videos really weren't that good. And she said, well, you got to download the app, Dad. And so I downloaded the app. And, inevitably you see a bunch of the Tide Pod eaters and the toilet seat lickers and the people dancing beside their car, running over themselves. But on my way out from watching one of her videos on the app, I stumbled across somebody who had a political statement that I agreed with. And I was like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more. And, of course, thus, is born your algorithm when you start liking that stuff. So I started showing me more and more about those things. And eventually I got the gonads to actually put my face out there. And it was right around 2019, 2020 when I started getting more active, at least on social media.
Right.
And I've always kind of had a conservative lean to my politics and so forth. But through TikTok, I was able to meet a bunch of people that I would not have been able to meet otherwise.
Right.
One of those people is the lovely and winsome Lisa Adams. We met in a group that had kind of got together to discuss political type things. And we were originally going to try to put out some podcasts, which there are a few still floating around there, but we kept getting our stuff knocked off of YouTube because, it violated their community guidelines. And that's when they were getting real hot and heavy. And they still are on some terms you can't use, or they either demonetize you or ban your video altogether.
Right.
And but anyway, just got to meet more people of like mind, more free thinkers, and definitely not an echo chamber. I mean, we all had different ideas and we kind of had the same core values, but we were able to bounce that off of each other. And Lisa and I inevitably found out that we were very close in proximity, geographically. Right. So she's in North Georgia, I'm in Central Georgia, and so she actually convinced me and got me off my fat ass to actually start contributing to some of the local things that we can do here. Make a difference on your state, your town, your city. My city is okay; it's not too bad, but I'm on the edge of Fulton County, and so like my state representation is terrible. But we went up and paid him a visit nonetheless. She convinced me to come up there, and we went knocking on doors, and that's where I got to meet you for the first time.
Yes.
And shake your hand. And that was really an eye-opening experience for me, and kind of a revelation too at some point to make me realize, hey, when you put your money where your mouth is, and you put the feet to the ground and actually dedicate yourself to do something about it, it changes your whole perspective, in my opinion.
No, you're right. It's amazing that you two met just like you're talking about. And this was all an accident for myself. But I think back, and actually, if Facebook started, they're always trying to get at you, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. When I first got hot and heavy into this, I was getting community strikes. I was getting just hammered all over the place for anything I said. I was constantly being restricted. Yes, I do believe that old Zuckerberg has sort of, taken some of that away. YouTube has stopped just pummeling us. I saw a story from Steve Brown today talking about how YouTube's fixing to start it back up. Good God. But it's crazy to look back. We all start talking about how around the 2020-ish, that's when all these things, is live streaming, come on board. And I look back at some of the older stuff I did, especially when I had no idea what I was doing, still don't. and being and how much different things have changed. Now it's very easy to get on and run your mouth, but the core of this is the people that you meet, the relationships that you make. Like you said, had no idea where Lisa was from. Here we are in Georgia, and now we're meeting up at least once a year to go down to the Capitol and make a day of it, right? That is the most beautiful provincial thing about what we're doing. And it's a love-hate thing with our technology, right? We know the AI and technology is coming to get us, but they bring us closer together. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, man, that's an awesome story. And I think I first met you at one of our own rallies. Wasn't it right, Lisa? He came up to the rally in Ringgold and had a tent there, I believe, and
at
that's the
Shooters
first time
Depot.
at Shooters Depot. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. So, by the way, everybody, this is a call-in show. Everything looks like it's up and running peachy. And there we go. We've got some good comments coming in. So, guys, first off, I want to start with you, Smatterchew. I want you to tell people, and I think this might be a little important, what it is you do. So you catch people online. That's your specialty, right? You catch people online that are like botting and trying to rip you off and stuff. Let's just talk a little bit about that. We're all on social media. We all get all kinds. I get these same Facebook posts of this single woman who's doing this risque pose and wanting to be your friend, and then you look in the comments, and the comments name is something like Nafajirmi Panatambe. You know what I'm saying? So you tell us about that, because you've had some really good social media stuff that I get a kick out of.
So it actually kind of started as a side hobby, and whenever I would get kicked off of TikTok or banned and couldn't go live, had to wait those out. Well, then I jumped to one of the other platforms, and inevitably, Instagram and Facebook are probably the worst offenders because you can get a new account with virtually no information. But yeah, you've all gotten the instant DMs. Hey, how you doing? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And, I tried to interface with some of them at first. But I've had close people in my family actually fall victim to sending some of these people money. And it's heartbreaking on that end, but it's part of it is like, come on, how stupid are you? It seems obvious, but some of them actually are pretty good at, when they come across with their, obviously we know nobody won any sweepstakes, and Mark Zuckerberg's personal secretary is not going to contact you via DM to tell you, you've been selected for this.
Well, we know that. But yeah, there are some people that will fall for it.
Well, the whole point, and I had a little bit of fun with it at first. And at first, every one of the videos that I was making was getting banned because I was rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. And so what I found is by leading them on and getting them to basically, I would scam the scammers and get these people to ultimately a lot of them admit what they're doing,
right?
But stopped using some of the vulgarity, stopped using some of the photos that I was sending that was getting me banned, and conform more to the guidelines and kind of ride the edge. But it was more to bring awareness to people that were, if they see my videos, no, wait a minute, and what I got to see was some of these people contacting me, or the accounts contacting me, were following my friends. And so rather than me going to each one of my friends going, hey, don't, you got to watch out. I just, you know what, let me just have fun with this. I'll make a video exposing them. And, as mad as they get a lot of times, and it's obvious at that point, once they lose their shit, so to speak, and start cussing me in another language or some stuff, that's the best. And my goal literally is to make them so angry that they block me. I don't block hardly anybody.
Right.
And I make them so angry that they block me.
Right.
But yeah, and I've had plenty of, this actually is my second Facebook account. I lost my first Facebook account over doing this stuff.
Wow.
Originally I didn't realize that it was bleeding over from Instagram because it's all part of Meta. And Instagram, I didn't care about. I've gone through like 5 or 6 accounts on Instagram, but apparently sometimes even without consulting you, it'll post it on Facebook.
Sure.
And so that's what got my other account. So I'm a lot more careful than I used to be, but there's still, if you want a good laugh and you want to look at some of the ways I torture these people online, you can check out my Instagram, and it's always some version of Smatterchew. It's Anthony Smatterchew. I think on Instagram it's Daddy Smatterchew.
Right.
But yeah, so I always try to squeeze Smatterchew in there just so you know who it is, and I don't care that people know my name is Anthony. I go by Tony. But Smatterchew makes it easier, to look up on all social media. So I did the Lemonade thing for a little while. I think I have an account over there as well when they were talking about getting rid of TikTok, which they still are.
Right.
But you find Smatterchew out there,
it?
and chances are it has to do with me.
Right. I don't use TikTok, never have, but I did create social media on there and was having a good time for a while. I got almost somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000, and man, they nuked my account. I mean, they just completely nuked it, and I was just like, I was banned from it. I couldn't do anything. I was like, you know what, whatever. And I can't get back into the rhythm of that. I wish I could, but maybe one of these days, because it's hard to keep up with all this. People will say, well, why don't you have an Instagram account? I'm like, well, my God, I can't even answer the messages I have coming in on like a Signal chat. Like, what? How am I supposed to keep up with all this? It does get overwhelming from time to time.
Well, it's disheartening putting effort into creating content and then have them snatch that away from you. I do get that, and I mean, I've lost several accounts on TikTok over this. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I still have my big one. Lisa's lost a really big one.
Yes,
and
that's right.
I lost two big ones.
Yeah, what were you up to, Lisa? And you were just doing your relentless. Just good.
I was at 44. I lost 44,000 people on 2 accounts.
God, isn't that crazy?
And
what?
Yeah, but you know what? You know how you combat that? Like, I don't care about the amount of followers.
Sure.
I don't. I would rather have quality folks that I can talk to, like Smatterchew, and I can give you a plethora of folks that I've met on TikTok that are amazing people.
Sure.
But I have 5 accounts. I have 5 active accounts because you know what? When I'm in a live and somebody is, and I have people in my box and somebody is smoking a cigarette, and they'll take their cigarette and smoke it and put it back down. Boom, violation. They cut you off. You're not on the algorithm. Your algorithm goes down. They don't put you on the For You page. They punish you for a 50-year-old person smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so, I mean, so if they get one of mine, it's not a big deal. I can create more when I need them. But I have 5 just, to be on the safe side.
I don't blame you. I mean, if you're going to do this, obviously, it's not, I don't think I think I speak for all of us. We don't care about the amount of people as long as it's good quality and people want it, right? But it's a shame if you're putting everything that you have into it and trying to especially focus on the truth is what we do most of the time, right? Even the conjecture, the conspiracies, we allow that to be a conspiracy, but still you get hammered. And it's actually, this year has been, I've been doing this last year. I got cut off so many times. Would get restricted on all these things. This year has not been like that. This year we've been able to just play and go, and it's good. And we haven't changed anything we're doing, But of course we know under this Trump administration all the wins that we are getting and all of the truth that's trying to come out, right? So I don't think they can do a lot to stop that, really. I mean, you can officially now say that the Russia hoax was a hoax, and you can't get stricken anymore, right? They released the Kraken the other day on that, didn't they? So,
yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic from what I see being released, and it's been a while since I was optimistic.
Yeah,
I really thought so much of this stuff was going to get swept under the rug. And I think enough people are awake and enough people are aware now that we're not going to let it go away. This is not going to be something that they can just distract us with and so forth. And so I think Pandora's box is open at this point.
Yes.
in my opinion.
So yeah, let's talk about that. So I'm here saying I'm going to make my bets. Barack Obama is not going to be arrested. Okay, and when I say that from a very cautious standpoint that we've never had any arrests, and I almost say that like the kid in me who wants snow in January, and if I say that there's going to be snow, there's going to be snow, there's not going to be snow. If I say there's not going to be any, it'll snow, because I don't know what to expect, and I don't believe that saying something like that, especially during a Trump administration, means that I have to turn in my Trump card and throw away my MAGA sign and because I got a little mad because Dad was swatting at me. Does that make sense to y'all? I mean, how do y'all feel about that?
No, absolutely. I hear what you're saying, and to be honest with you, I don't think the divide is near what people are trying to say it is as far as MAGA from Trump or me. Look, you and I, we can agree on a lot of things, okay? But we're not going to agree on everything. And if we did agree on everything, then one of us is not necessary. Right. So, I mean, I think it's important, though, for us to have a dialogue, and I try to remain open to other points of view, other perceptions, and that sort of thing. But I think it goes as a testament of MAGA that we're not a cult.
100%.
We're not going to follow somebody off the edge of a cliff. We question. If it doesn't look right, it's time to question it. That doesn't mean we don't support Trump. Right. That doesn't mean we're not part of MAGA. That doesn't mean that we've lost any core values. It just means we want answers.
I agree.
Make it make sense.
Yeah,
that's all we're asking.
Absolutely. What do you think about it, Lisa?
I mean, I'm like Smatterchew. I don't think it's going to go away. I don't think that that's something that they're going to be able to go, oh, well, here, you pick up this rug and you pick up this broom and I don't think that it's going to be as easy as they think it is. Sure. Am I mad at Trump? Not mad at him, no. Do I disagree? Yeah, but disagreeing's okay. That's a problem that we have in our society now that, oh, you're not supposed to disagree with me. You disagree with me, you're deplorable.
Well,
you're not part of our team.
I think that if you think about the psychology behind that, because I have been giving this a lot of thought. Right, you guys are both on X. Everybody's following the big 15 or 20, right? The big social media accounts, and Cat Turd, for example, whom I stopped following. I was like, look, I don't have anything against this guy, but I can't read that every day, right? And I don't expect it to read it for me. But again, it's like psychological warfare, how you're supposed to trust but verify. You're supposed to question everything. And you're supposed to be able to sit down like grown folk at a table and be like, I really don't agree with you, or I have a different opinion about this. And you listen and you be like, okay, you either agree to disagree, or maybe one person gains something from this conversation, but you get online and it's like, you don't speak about Epstein. You take that beating, and if you don't, you're not MAGA. And I'm just like, whoa, what is going on here? You realize that we're not a cult. You realize that Donald Trump is not Jesus. Like we can look at this stuff and be like, whoa, you cannot just take all the years of the Epstein list, right? The Epstein files, and then just break it down at the very end and say, oh, it was a hoax, no need to worry about it. No, you can't do that. Okay, sorry, that kind of backfired on Trump and everything, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. But again, it's healthy debate, and I'm a firm believer that if we weren't talking about it and weren't being as vocal as we were, we would not even have what we have now on the table. What do you think about that?
And we would be more like a cult.
It would be exactly.
If we just took it what they said.
Donald Trump said it in his little Truth Social. The Democrats are lockstep with each other, and I'm sitting here reading that, going, so that's what you want to compare me to the Democrat Party and be like a sheeple, horseblinder, lockstep? I mean, like, look, I know the man's frustrated, and we all know that we're winning, right? Regardless of anything that happens, we have already won with Donald Trump. We're going to continue to support him, even though these kind of bonehead things happen. But I think it
Absolutely.
needs to be said that, guys, calm down a little bit. Like, no, I'm not going to stop talking about the Epstein files, and I'm not. I want the people arrested. I want them out of the government. If it's going to break down society, well, oh well. I mean, I'm not, I mean, you know what I'm saying, guys. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, break it down. Break
Yeah, I mean,
it.
you know why? Because I'm talking
Rip
to two
the Band-Aid
people.
off.
Exactly. I'm talking to two people right now that we could take these scum suckers out of the equation, and we could put both of you guys in there, and you would do 10 times better job than these idiots would that we have up there right now. I mean,
I'd like to think that, but at the same token, this is what scares me about our government too. So in regards to the Epstein thing, so we had Kash Patel and Dan Bongino.
yeah.
If you have ever followed Dan Bongino and saw him when he was doing his podcast and paid attention. So, and I don't agree 100% with everything Dan Bongino says,
Sure.
but I will tell you that everything he speaks on, he speaks with definitive passion. He has a complete thought. And I thought, man, when he got in this position, I was like, they are in trouble because Dan is a man of integrity. And then I had to sit there and watch him sweat under a light and his eyes darting from left to right. And I'm like, what do they have on Dan Bongino?
Right.
What have they told him to make him, I'm even more not terrified. I'm more pissed off.
Yeah,
at
really.
This government that
Really.
we live under because it has the power to make what I saw as this, powerhouse of integrity just crumble like a little puppy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the hell did your balls go excuse my language, but I'm like, everything. When have you ever heard Dan Bongino speak in incomplete sentences? When have you ever seen him and Haw and
Sure.
And I'm like, it's like literally somebody had their hand behind him, making him say certain things. And you could tell he was frustrated and he was irritated that he was having to be in that position.
Sure.
He was not comfortable at all. And I think there's a whole lot more to all of this than any of us understand
Right.
at this point. And I think that there is that general consensus that, well, like with Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. There
Sure.
are some people out there that are not going to be able to handle the truth. But let me tell you something. The person I was 15 years ago, if they were to meet the person I am today, the person from 15 years ago would have today committed.
Right. I got you.
Because, none of this stuff, you could not have told me that any of this stuff was going to, Donald Trump was going to be president of the United States? Are you smoking crack?
True. True.
But things have gone all a certain way.
Right.
And have changed my perception. It changed my political views. I have regrets about just about everyone I voted for in history. I think they were the lesser of the evils, but I think they were part of a bigger deep state cabal, if you will.
Sure.
It's more like two dirty sides of the same coin. And I think that's when I first started to see the difference in us versus them rather than left versus right was when Trump came down the escalator and started running his campaign because I held my nose when I voted for him the first time.
Did you?
It was going to be him over Hillary. That was the advantage, was at least it's not Hillary.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then I got to realizing, hey, this is a businessman. He's not corrupted by the system. Now, he's imperfect. He's going to make mistakes. He doesn't know his way around in there, but he is their worst nightmare on the left and the right. If you got people on the left and the right riled up and pissed off,
well,
you must be in the right. You must be in the right spot.
That was the beginning of the unraveling, or the Great Awakening, really, the Great Awakening, right? Where normal people, not us like news junkies, because when I heard that Donald Trump was going to run for president in maybe 2014, early 2015, I've never seen not one episode of what's that show called? You Fired? What, The Apprentice?
Yeah.
I've never seen a single episode of that.
Really, it was like the #1 show. Too.
It was. I was working
seen
a lot.
snippets of it, but I've never watched it all the way through.
But maybe it was selfish, but I voted for Donald Trump, and the first thing that came to my head was, this dude is the punk rock of presidents. He's going to be completely outside of the box. He's not in the middle of all this political. That's exactly, I was big time, Ron Paul supporter anyway. He was speaking the language. But that was me. I was like, this guy knows business and he's not a part of this system. Let's bring it. And,
you remember Ross Perot?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved Ross Perot when I was a teenager.
I had hints of as far as the way Trump would have handled it. Now he's a whole different personality than Ross Perot.
Yes.
But as far as the way Trump handled stuff, I think Ross Perot would have been very similar.
Sure.
In the business side of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It makes perfect sense.
So I want to cover this really quick. I'm not going to pull this up on the page here, but I wanted to because we're in the middle of talking about Epstein, and we're going to move on from that too in a minute. But this was a story that caught my eye from last night. Of course, as we all know, the House recess comes early to avoid Epstein controversy. So basically, our beloved House Speaker Mike Johnson shut down Congress a day early to avoid voting on the Epstein files that was written up by Thomas Massey and Democrat Kahan, I think, from California. So I'm not surprised at the least. But again, this shows me a little bit of signs of desperation here. You've got the House Speaker shutting this down to avoid this. And obviously our Congresswoman was pretty upset about it. She's really been laying the groundwork down. And I don't think that Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think that her unwavering support for Donald Trump has changed one iota. But I see her out there calling out the same things that we're all feeling and seeing. But what do you guys make of that? You think that we're going to get anything from Congress on Epstein, or you think that this is just it and they're just ready to shut it down and come back in September? Lisa, you want to start?
I'm not really sure about that. I think that regardless of what happens or how it falls, it's going to be one of those deals where we're not going to know. And I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't know how to answer that. Like,
Yeah, we don't know. Nobody knows.
Like, I would love to say, I believe something's going to happen. We're going to get it. But are my hopes high? Well, they gave a bunch of social media influencers notebooks and said,
the phase
here,
one,
and showed it to everybody. Look what we're doing. We're giving them the information.
Yeah, it's on the desk.
And called it phase one.
Yeah, and it was a quote unquote, as you say, Roy, a nothing burger. Mm-hmm. And so, it's hard. It'll be hard for me to.
The breaking news 4 hours ago. So we know that Donald Trump had agreed and told Pam Bondi to pursue these court case documents and release them. And this is breaking 4 hours ago. U.S. District Judge Robin Rosenberg rejects the DOJ bid to unseal Epstein grand jury transcripts from the Florida probe. So we've already got a district judge shutting that down in one particular case. So it's kind of like the dominoes are still falling, right? We're not getting anything from this, and I don't know that we will. So.
Well, dominoes are falling, but then somebody keeps standing them back up.
Well, that's true.
And it is frustrating. And I'm obviously, we haven't seen it on a time scale that we would like for it to happen on.
Right.
However, I think this is too big. They can't stop it. It will happen. I don't know how fast it's going to happen. And I believe that it is political suicide for the people in Congress right now to allow this to off-put until September.
Sure.
No, this is too hot of an item. It's not going to cool down, and this is literally just throwing gasoline on the fire.
You're right. And moving into, let's talk about Barack Obama. Yeah, well, it's true. You're right. You hit the nail on the head, because here we are now with Barack Obama, the Russian hoax. And it's almost like this is being brought up like it's this breaking news, like with stuff we didn't know. We knew all this was going on. We took the brunt of the torment being on social media, trying to report on all this stuff, right? But here we are with the simple, the Russia hoax. Here's the proof. Here's the smoking gun. Here's what's going on. And so each 24-hour cycle that goes by, we get more pumped and more pumped about, are we going to see some arrests? What are we going to get some justice here? And it's very hard for me to actually think, when I think about Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Comey, all these people, it's very hard for me to imagine that they're going to try to arrest the president, or maybe even try, but that they actually will. So I'm just sitting here like, look, until I see an arrest, until I see something going to court, because, you know, think about the gaslighting with P. Diddy, right? Huge case with P. Diddy. And when they brought him forth and we got all of the details of the case, oh, this man was horrible. He was having these weird freak-offs and ordering cases of baby oil and blah, yada, yada. And then they released the text messages and all this stuff. And, oh, this is a mini Epstein. And then it starts to go silent. And then as it comes close to a jury verdict, all of a sudden you find out that James Comey's freaking daughter, Maureen Comey, was the prosecutor in this case. And then what happened? He basically got slapped on a wrist and said, "Nah, you're not guilty." I'm sitting here going, how did this happen? Like, did we enter into it an alternate reality? Are we like, are we on like a Mandela effect where everything just went like sideways?
Because a parallel universe and we just shifted lanes.
Yes, that's how it feels. This last 2 or 3 weeks have been really crazy. So
my gut feeling turned out to be right on with you know, P. Diddy, and the way that was, when I paid attention to actually what the charges were,
right,
I knew right there that it was gonna be a fail.
Gotcha.
They used. There's some good news about that, because it allowed a whole lot of information to come out that did not even pertain to the case.
Right.
But the whole idea was that it was over trafficking and that sort of thing. And they couldn't prove that because there were willing participants. And I'm like, that's a dumb idea. You charged them with the wrong thing if you were actually going for a conviction. No, this was a sideshow to distract. And yeah, there's a lot of distractions.
Yeah, seems
but
like it.
I will tell you, my gut feeling, at least on the Epstein thing, and the reason why that this is political suicide by trying to stifle it and stop it and so forth, because as much as some of the politicians and some of the people out there voicing their opinion want to say, you know, we're worried about Epstein, we're worried about, I don't give a flying rat's ass about them. Mm-hmm. What I care about is accountability for the perpetrators of the crimes that were involved. And that is all I care about.
Yes.
Obviously, if Epstein is deceased, more power to him. I don't give a flying rat's butt.
Yeah.
What I want is accountability. Sure. And that's not going anywhere. That's not going to change. There's no amount of sideshow carnival bullshit that you can throw up at me that's going to make me forget about those children and what they went through.
Yeah. And
all the suspicious circumstances around mysterious disappearances and deaths and all the you can't look at that and tell me, oh, it's a nothing burger. There was nothing there.
Right.
Then why was Epstein in jail then?
Yeah, and
why is Ghislaine? She's the only person in history to have been charged for trafficking children to no one.
Yeah. Again, you
make
can't
it make sense.
Make it make sense. You can't wrap your mind around it. Bottom line is, I've always stood by the Epstein list. Nobody was expecting a list. What we were expecting was the keys to the Golden Gates. Open this up, get rid of these people, and it just seems like that we're giving them a pass. Right? Is there something more? Yes. I believe that no matter what, God is in control. Right? He's in control, and we're on His time. Therefore, that's exactly the reason why I tell why I say, hey, I still support Donald Trump 100%. This is not about Donald Trump, okay? Until there's something there that is concrete or something, the man has got my support. But God is in control, and so I'm not even talking about 5D chess or trust the plan, because I am sick of that stuff, right? What I am saying is that at this moment in time, we're just going to have to keep waiting it out. But if you think that we're going to forget about this, right, there's no way. So, Lisa, what you got to
Christ
add?
is my savior.
Yes.
Trump is my president.
There you go. I love it.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Yes. Come on, Lisa. What do you say?
Get it, girl.
I think that there's a lot of people that don't even realize what all happened with the Epstein. They haven't done their research, if you will, and they don't understand the depth of how deep it goes.
Yeah.
Um, it's sad that there aren't more people that care. That there are more people that say, "Well, you look at these pictures with Donald Trump." Over what did Epstein do?
Oh,
Can we prove this? Let's do whatever we need to do. I mean, I have my own opinions about him being
hang on,
alive,
Nick.
or you know,
Yeah.
Hey, good evening.
I
Good evening, Roy. Good evening, Lisa.
Hold on just a second,
Richard.
Nick. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hang on one second. I'm going to let Lisa finish thought, and I'm going to bring you in, okay? Go ahead,
All right.
Lisa.
no, I think it's sad the amount of people that don't do more research,
Yes.
and I think that um I believe that Ghislaine she's not locked up for nothing.
Right.
Like they can't. I mean, she's not in. I don't even know where she is. Like, do y'all know where she is? Like, I don't know where they're keeping her.
Yeah, it's
Um,
up north somewhere, I believe. Is it Michigan, Pennsylvania, somewhere like that? I think.
It's like a
really.
minimum
Oh
security
yeah, she's got it made, I think.
prison.
So
So, like, I hope they have video cameras and stuff on her.
well, they do. The
You know,
DOJ
is it?
supposedly going to see her, right? They're supposed to be going and having a meeting with her if they haven't already. So
Yeah, for her to testify, right? For her to come out and tell the truth.
we don't know. For all I know, they could she could get Epstein. I don't know. So
Right, that's what I'm saying. I hope they have cameras on her. I hope
I
that
hope
they
so
have
too.
24-hour cameras on her to where that they see what's happening with her. Because you know
Absolutely.
what? She's liable to completely disappear, or,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to even speak it into existence of things that could happen.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Keep Hillary Clinton away from her.
Exactly. All right. So we got the first call of the night. All right. I'm going to bring in Nick Ware. Nick Ware, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
What's on your
So,
mind, man?
with what you guys were saying, there's always a show. There's always a show, a distraction. And if you just look back through the last 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, there's always a show. If you even go back to 2008 and you look at the fall that we had with the housing market, there was a show. There's always a distraction. There's always a show. And that's what people want. And people want the distraction. It's the bread and circuses, right? You've got the bread and circuses, then you're able to distract the people from what's really going on and what's before them. One of the things I've seen here recently is Marjorie Taylor Greene really hammering down on this with the national debt. And so many people continue to they talk about it, they get in there, and then they just forget about it. And they're off to the bread and circuses, right?
Yeah.
All the little shows. Whereas the $37 trillion debt that we have right now, which that's just the national debt. Whenever you're looking at unfunded liabilities, you're up into the 140 trillion. You've got our country sinking in debt while we're all trying to figure out what's going on with the circuses, the shows, and all this distraction.
It's very
And
true.
I can't wrap my mind around sometimes how the importance of future generations and children and future generations to come who are going to already being born into slavery. If you were born yesterday, you've got a debt of over $500,000 in this nation for paying your part, your fair share in that of the debt. As we continue to roll down this stream of debt that we are under, where it takes us is our future generations and our children will be enslaved to that of whoever the masters are that we owe the debt to. And when you have so much debt, and goes back to the Epstein thing, there is a debt that's there that these people must now pay in that to make sure it does not come out.
Yeah. Well
And
said.
that's where they hold us. And that's where we will be held as a nation whenever it comes time for us to pay our debt.
Yeah. I can't agree with you more. And guys, I don't have my equipment set up where that he can hear you, so he can only hear me. But no, Nick, appreciate that. In fact, I don't mean to say this on air, but I got some really good news to share with you, and I'm going to try to share that tomorrow. But I think a lot of us are continually focusing on the debt. If you want to talk about a show, right? Well, if you're looking at the show of the future, a lot of our Republican, contenders are now talking about debt and taxes and all this magically before 2026. So, we're going to be entering in a phase of this show where I think we can actually make some leeway with talking about this. I mean, we have Thomas Massey out there who's bucking the system, something awful, trying to get them to do the right thing, and he's getting pummeled for it. I mean, there is some hope in the near future,
I do hope so. I'm going to hang up now so I can hear the other guests.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it, man. You guys, you want to respond?
So, yeah, first of all, Nick, thanks for the insight. No, there's some very, very important information. And I think a lot of people, as well as waking up to the political torture that we're being put through, they are coming to terms with, what this debt actually means. The only exception or the only caveat that I would add.
Hang on, Bill. Go ahead. Sorry.
The only caveat that I would add is that's the main reason why this issue with Epstein will not go away.
Right.
Because that's the only thing I think that supersedes all the other issues because of what was done and the crimes that were committed. And I don't think that any amount of, getting out of debt, any amount of money, clearing up debt, will at least clear our conscience in God's eyes for allowing what happened there to go unchecked.
100%.
Again, my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa?
What he said. Exactly what he said. I'm 100% with that.
I think that's the bottom line, right? How do you claim to be Christian, conservative? How do you claim to use the words transparency, accountability, all of these things, right? But you're willing to turn a blind eye. I know a lot of people, it's a control mechanism where people want to use that. They've used it for Trump and against Trump, right? It's almost as if like Trump is the deciding factor in the sand. So if you talk about Epstein, you've got the people saying, we just need to forget about that, or you don't criticize that, or you're hurting this and this. But really, most of those people, the same ones are barkers and biters because they don't want the boat rocked. They don't want the system to change. They're very comfortable where they're at, and maybe they have their little seat at the table, their little niche or whatever. But the bottom line is if you practice what you preach, right? If I'm gonna waste my time, I volunteer my time to make a difference. I'm going to advocate always for the children because this is the only dang reason that we do this to begin with. We have families, we have children, we care about the future. We see it slipping away. And how on earth can we live with ourselves when we let some of the worst top 1% of these Bill Gates, Clinton Foundation people that got away with, provincial, what I'm saying. It can't happen. And again, we go back to the same thing. Do I think Barack Obama is going to be arrested? No. Hillary Clinton was not arrested. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody. But they turned around and they tried to convict. And this is another thing about Trump. If there was something in there in the Epstein files, I think that would have indicted Trump or whatever. They would have used it already. All right, they're already coming out with these stupid fake Wall Street Journal. Oh, Trump wrote a card in a naked woman. That's the stupidest thing you could ever imagine. And having somebody like the Wall Street Journal come out with that, it's fake, right? That would have came out a long time ago. Come on. But seriously, though, if this is about the fabric of society, well, our fabric of society should be based on God, the rock of God, right? So we don't allow these things to continue. So, yeah. So Antonio, if you want to call in the show, I think Antonio, we talked a little bit earlier. So one thing, and we'll go into a little bit of this. And if you guys didn't see War Room today, it was pretty fire. I haven't finished it yet. He had Kylie Kramer on, who gave a very thorough kind of update of the Frost situation we have here in Georgia, the $140 million Ponzi scheme, which ties into all of this. And then, of course, he had a guest on about Agenda 2030, because don't forget, we still have an Agenda 2030 on the books that they are gradually moving us to. But I did want to cover a little bit of the Frost case, because it seems like that we have a little bit of the same thing going on here. I'm not comparing the two, but a $140 million Ponzi scheme. A lot of people got ripped off. Prominent wealthy family who apparently was just throwing out money like they were candy canes during Christmas. And I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second, Antonio. And so, throwing out this money like candy canes to everybody, right? I mean, I'm kind of poor, right? If I give my money to a political candidate, I'm going to make sure that I give it to the one that I believe in. But these folks were just handing it out all over the place. But we have the situation, and Antonio has called in. I'm going to let him come in a second. But we have the situation where, these people still are in our GOP. And they're still, we're not getting we're getting a good start. Our GOP has come forward with some money and said, hey, this is the money we need to give back, but it's still not involved in the people that are elected in the positions, like our treasurer. No official statements. I'm hearing that some of the same people in his family were on phone calls about all this stuff. I mean, it's really crazy. We're not having the proper accountability here. And the reason why I bring that up is because, guess what? If the tables were turned and it was somebody else, if it was somebody that was, say, out of the favor of the people in charge, they would have already removed these people from office, right? So it's just, to me, it's another rules for thee or not for me. It's not that I want these people in particular. It's the fact that we should be abiding by the rules across the board, right? These people should have had the good grace to step down, and no matter what grace you give these people, you find out that one of the main culprits here, a few days after all this, they started up they applied for an LLC for a mortgage company. And it's like, how are you supposed to feel sorry for these people who are just kind of blatantly throwing it in your face, right? So I think we had Smatterchew drop out, but you can come back in at any time. There he comes. And so
No, I just had to step out.
Gotcha.
Handle a little something with the dog here. So.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to let Antonio come on with us and just kind of catch us up. Your show, Antonio, was fire today. I still haven't finished it yet, but just give us a little bit of insight on how you feel about it.
Well, I think that Paulie does great work, very detailed work. One of the things that we had a conversation, me and you earlier, and we was talking about, the Georgia GOP came out, released a statement or what have you. But you pointed out something that was real key that I hadn't even thought about. The key line in that release that they had statement was, we didn't have to do this, or Josh indicated, hey, he didn't have to do this. And I took it a step further when you pointed that out. I didn't want to do this. We didn't want to do this. Right. And then if you think about it, why not? We want accountability. The people in Georgia want accountability. Look at the convention, how it was ran. I really believe in my heart of hearts, and it's my opinion, that nothing significant is going to come from Josh McCoon, because I believe the rig that we saw at the state convention was all a plan. And if one person gets thrown up under the bus, then then people are going to start talking. Mm-hmm. That's just what I'm thinking. But I mean, always claiming a high moral ground or whatever the case may be, think about when they kicked BKP off of the executive committee. What was that all about? The people elected him to be in there, or in the name of election integrity. Okay, let's fast forward to now. People have a lot of questions about the finances. Laura McClain not having access to the bank statement, the chairman running around, spending money at jumpy houses and the Brooks Brothers suits and all these other kinds of things, right? And here we are, post-convention, and, he appoints Katie Frost to be a part of the Financial Oversight Committee,
Right.
and it's my thought that it was because people had put so much pressure and there was so much outrage about the finances. Okay, the doors literally got blown off the convention, off the rig convention, after people were shut out. People was not heard at the microphone. People were blocked from the microphone, and Mike Crane not recognizing people, at the microphone. And after the convention, the doors literally blew off the convention, with a nearby tornado.
Yeah.
And you can vouch for me looking at you, telling you, Roy, there's something to this. I really don't believe, I'm not a person that throws, and it's a shame that people have used Christianity in the name of God in vain and have thrown it around and desecrated the whole idea of being a believer.
Right.
But look at this Frost operation, going after Christians to get them to invest in money. People's money was stolen in the name of Christianity. But I looked at you that day and I said, there's something to these doors blowing off. And I said, God is not pleased with this, and it's a shame that we got rhino Republicans, but I think fake Christians is a bridge too far right here, and this is just, where we at. This is very despicable. And back to the chairman claiming a moral high ground, and he's a parishioner and all this stuff on his profile, and his weak lackluster statement that he put out is, in my opinion, it's unacceptable. In my view, it took too long for something that is painfully obvious for people that was ripped off. And, the Georgia GOP is going to be wearing this around, because if I was a Democrat, I'd be blasting this all over the place. Hey, look at all these crooks over there.
Well, again,
Rich white men, quote, stealing your money. And
Yes.
I ain't got a racist bone in my body, Roy.
got you.
I confide stuff in you and all of that, but this is horrible.
yeah, it seems the optics seem to get worse and worse. And, Antonio, I still don't have hooked up yet, so I can't let them answer to you. But anything else you want to add, and then I'll let you go, and I'm going to let them answer.
Let me see. I think that's basically it. Then after the convention, I think that the chairman had an opportunity. First of all, we shouldn't have been voting on the clickers.
Oh.
Donald Trump got shot for what he be, trying to fight for this country. And he put out his executive order, and the least we could do is honor him by showing that it could be done. If we can't get 1,600 people to do paper ballots at a convention,
Yes.
why are we not leading the way and forging forward? That was a total embarrassment. It's a sham, but I think it
Good
goes
point.
to, hey, Kemp runs the state. Josh McCoon works for the state, and his boss don't want anything election integrity. Paper ballots flowing through that convention. It would have been competing ideas. They don't want to get rid of Dominion machines. Lisa's been down there. You've been down there at the Capitol. Sam, Phil, and the whole election integrity movement.
Yeah, even
We want
Smatterchew.
paper ballots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had an opportunity to show and prove, but there again, can't have competing ideas. So
Right.
Josh McCoon's not going to step on his quote boss's toes. In my opinion, that was just another debacle that we had. And we're not going to get anything, in my opinion, significant out of this leadership, but we're going to keep fighting and try to apply pressure and expose
Sure.
the corruption here. And hey, we're not going to wear the badge of the people that's tearing down the party and all of that. See, all of that was believable before, guess what? This thing that went down with the Frost family. We're living in divine providence,
Yes.
like you always say, Roy.
You hit
and
the nail
nobody
on the
can
head.
take that away.
You hit the nail on the head, man. Hey, thank you for all your work. Your show was great today. We shared it, and we will speak to you soon, my friend.
All right, and shout out to Lisa. Lisa, keep doing what you're doing, and Smatterchew, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you, Roy.
Thank
You're
you.
my brother. I
Yes.
appreciate what you're doing. Love you, man.
I love you too, man. And before I let y'all respond, I want to say one thing. You try to show grace. I think it's a great thing that the GOP got together and did what they did, and they said, this is the money from 2021, and we're going to return it. Obviously, they had pressure from every which way, including Brad Raffensperger, of all people, whom also got called out online because Gabriel Sterling tried to run shade for him, and then they found out he's got to return like thousands of dollars. But again, one thing that he said about that, they released a statement, right? But to find out that the treasurer found out the same time that we all found out, and that nobody was really involved. This was a very singular step that was made, and in accordance with a person of this particular family who is overseeing their own giving their money back. It's hard to be graceful about that. You get what I'm saying? This is a one-man show here, and this is what people voted against, and it's still being run that way. So I would like to open up the table for your thoughts. Whichever one wants to go first.
Well, I think Lisa can probably speak with much more authority. She's had a lot more interaction with the local type, but I converse with her, and she vents on me quite often. Which I thoroughly enjoy because it gives me some insight. But yeah, there was definitely some dirty pool going on at the convention, from what I understand.
Oh man, yeah, it was. And I was skeptical that day. Lisa, you were there that day. The doors blew off, right? I was the first one.
Oh yeah, I was standing right there.
I was sitting there like, look,
they blew completely off the hinges.
I ain't a bit shy. I was sitting there like, nah, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. All right, yeah, the doors blew off, no big deal, no. And everybody was like, I remember the days after people was like, that's a sign. And I'm just sitting here skeptical of me like, no, look, the doors blew off. That's all this was. Here we are on July 23rd, and we've seen everything transpire, and I'm having to go back and be like, yo, was that a sign? Because, you know, that very well could have been a sign. Of course I feel that way now, but.
God will not be mocked.
No, I know he won't. But what do you make about all this, Lisa?
So, you know, I haven't made any kind of public statement, and I haven't really talked publicly to anybody about this. But I was at convention last year, and I was really confused about things that happened in the convention last year. And, you know, Stacy did get up, and she did talk about paper ballots and how we weren't going to have our votes counted by black boxes anymore. She was immediately shut down upon saying that statement. She was ignored. It was a done deal. It was like, oh, we don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. So they shut that up. But I will tell you that as this being my second convention, I was a little overwhelmed at the way that it was happening. It seemed like it didn't have a flow to it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it didn't have.
Oh, there was no flow to this. It was
no. It seemed like chaos. It seemed like chaos.
It was controlled
from the minute that we walked in.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I believe there was a lot of first timers there at that convention, and that when they voted to adopt the rules, that a lot of people did not understand that they could not vote on a paper ballot once they adopted those rules.
I understand that. You're right. And it was done that way on purpose. I got to remind people, while all that was going on, the lights were off in that convention hall. I kept seeing Crane doing this and doing this. One of the biggest, most important votes about voting on the agenda that day, voting on the rules that day. And the lights are off, and he's sitting here doing like this. But then once we get the clickers out and we get everything situated, they magically turn the lights on. And a lot of people don't bring that up, and that actually happened. I have to.
Well, he actually said it, Roy.
He actually did say it. It's hard,
I really can't see anything out there. It's so dark.
Yeah. I mean,
really?
Look, the providence that we're getting off of all of this is just like, wow. Like, I guess it's the same thing as 2020 with Donald Trump and the Russia hoax and all. We had to go through this to get where we're at now. Otherwise, we wouldn't be as woke as we are. We wouldn't understand what we understand. We would just keep believing that it's not a bunch of distractions and not a big game, right? I mean,
Roy, you mentioned
go ahead.
You mentioned earlier about why aren't the Democrats basically taking this and using it as an example and say, hey, here's what your Republicans are doing. It's because they're doing the same damn thing.
Oh yes, we know that.
They have their own, and they know that if they contribute to uncovering that, well, then maybe their shit will get uncovered.
Well, and that's
it goes back to the two dirty sides of the coin. You've got honorable people, I think, in both parties.
Yes,
I think you have more misled people in the Democratic Party, but. I think there's some truth to that theory.
Well, no, there is. I think the main difference between like somebody with a conservative mindset and a Democrat mindset is very simple. A conservative mindset, you're supposed to hold yourself to principles, right? We're supposed to be principled. We're supposed to believe in faith, family, freedom, the community. We're supposed to have morals, values, respect. We're supposed to do things the right way. We pay our bills. We go to work. We raise our children. That's what it's supposed to be, right? The Democrat Party is completely different. They lie, cheat, they steal, they whatever means that they can, right? So in this particular case with this family and this money, right, it is a travesty because they ripped off their own people, all right, which is a huge no-no. But we all already understand that the Democrat Party completely functions on the back of the taxpayers' money. They function from NGOs and they function from, I guess, this sort of quid pro quo with the Uniparty that, hey, if you just don't screw with me, well, I'm going to give you Stacey Abrams, I'm going to give you $2 billion and you go out and buy some stoves for somebody. It's expected on that side of the coin. We know that Act Blue is absolutely horrible, and dear God, please let this open this chasm up of corruption. We've spent the first 6 months of this year trying to uncover through Doge and have been blocked every which way. So it is a shock when we find that a very prominent family in Georgia is there. Well, they're just ripping everybody else off and using it. So yeah, two sides of the same coin here. So that's a good point you bring up, man. All right, so I think what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to go through some comments, all right? Because we did get a good bit of comments tonight. Loves You Too is here. And let's see, Georgia Patriot Girl is here. And everybody says, hey. And I'm going to just kind of skim down a little bit. Loves You Too says, algorithm indoctrination is a real thing. You ain't kidding. And it gets worse with your phone. If you're sitting there talking about Tide Pods at work, and then all of a sudden you pull up Facebook, and what do you get? You get an ad for Tide Pods. So I know you guys have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Hardy Strong Bear Taylor, good to see you. He says hello. Jason Pierce says, what's up, folks? What's up, Jason? How are you guys doing? I think that's Lisa Pierce's husband. Wonderful. We love Lisa Pierce. And yes, they try to Loves You Too says they try to shadow people big time. Lord, yeah. I can't even get my YouTube channel to grow. So you guys can go to Small Town Underground and subscribe to YouTube because it's pitiful. But you know what? We're going to keep posting videos there. So Sandra Smith Bearden, good to see you. She says, I met you the day Lisa brought me to the Capitol the first time when we were interviewing the General Assembly. I remember that day, and I remember it well, Sandra.
Another testament to how Lisa is making a difference.
Oh,
Lisa
man.
is dragging
Yeah.
people by their head.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, if it wasn't
We
for
got places
Lisa,
to go.
I don't think I'd have went down to Capitol that day because, I was all about, fixing the elections, but I wasn't crazy on paper ballots. I felt the same way that most people do. Like, paper ballots was a Democrat thing. I didn't understand it, and I was always thinking about, well, why couldn't you make a system up that's open source, right? Because it's technology, right? It's all around us. And that day, I got convinced that day through the activism there that paper ballots were the right thing to do and that it was the best thing. A lot of people will argue with you about it, and not the only way. And they're not wrong. It's not the only way. We could fix this in a myriad of ways. The travesty is we don't fix this, right? But paper ballots, you have 159 counties. You've got virtually 159 election boards in every single county that's perfectly capable of handling this stuff, yet you have a Secretary of State who hires outside NGOs and spends millions of dollars on Dominion voting systems to do all this crap that we could have already done and had done in our own offices.
A computer programmer once told me, as much as we rely on computers, you have to understand that computers are so stupid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, they will do exactly what you tell them to do. Okay.
But
Yeah.
you
So
know what?
go ahead.
You know what's crazy is, and I know that he's an elected official, but so I'm going to bring up something that we did last year, the first day of legislation. Well, it was actually the second day of legislation because me and Smatterchew went down the first day of legislation, and we went and knocked on doors and spoke to people and did some videos. And the second day, Smatterchew went to the Curling versus Raffensperger the very first day of that case. And I came down later. We were having tornadoes that day. And I came down later and swung by and grabbed him at the Russell building, right? That where it was, the Russell building. Went back to the Capitol, and he went with me to speak to my state senator, Chuck Payne. And I was told to speak to Raffensperger about the issues I had with the 2020 election and speak to Raffensperger. And I'm trying to explain to him, we can't do that. That you can email, you can call, you can go in person. He runs from me.
Oh yeah, we got that on video, didn't we?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And yes. And more than once, in Dalton, when he came to Dalton. And then I've got a video of him going up the stairs in front of me, and you can see, and it's on Facebook. You can see Charlize Bird plainly says he's always
video.
running.
There you
yeah,
go.
look, there's Smatterchew and me and Chuck Payne.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna quit. The amount of people, we censured Chuck Payne with the GOP in Whitfield County, and we took it to district, and it passed at district as well. But the amount of people that want to tell you how godly that man is and how good of a friend he is. But you can't elect people because they're your friend. You can't elect people because you think they're godly.
Wait a minute.
You can't.
No way. That's all. That's the only requirements you need, Lisa. Is they got to be godly, and you have to love them, and they have to be a good friend. Come on, that's all you need to get in there.
Look, that hour and a half, 2 hours we was in his office.
Yeah.
Lisa made that grown man cry.
Twice.
Yeah. Well, again, look, and I want to get off into the weeds. This whole thing is a political game, all right? And I have a post, and I'm glad you said that, Lisa, because I saved it as a draft today because I wanted to put more thought into it, right? Think back 4 years ago. You can think back 8 years ago at how much things have changed. So 4 years ago, I'm not using any individual person, a name, but for everybody out there, think about this. 8 years ago, when you got wooed by that candidate, when you got involved after Trump, and how you felt about this person when you first met them and they were speaking your language and they were going to change, they were going to be that line in the sand, and they were great people. Think about that. Now fast forward to 4 years ago, and how many of those people that you can honestly think of do you even talk to, or that kept that promise, or were able to do that, right? And I would beg to say the answer is very few. Why is that? It's because they go into politics and they get elected and they walk into that chamber and they're expecting to get in there and ideally win over your legislature, and they come out like a piece of chewed up bubble gum. Okay? They walk in and they get sat down in a room and they say, "Listen here, you little piece of crap. This is the way we do things. You can't walk in here. You're not going to be able to put your name on anything. You're not going to be able to sign anything. You're not going to be able to do anything. I mean, we've got every committee here lined exactly the way we want, and this is the chief, person, and you're either going to do exactly what we tell you to do, and if you do, then every week when you come in, there'll be a nice big envelope on your desk, or there'll be some sort of a trip to the Caribbean or whatever you want. And you just keep your mouth shut, and you don't make any waves, and you vote for the way that we want you to vote. And if you don't do that, we're going to make your life a living hell." So what happens? They get overwhelmed, and then they start getting threatened, and it's like all of a sudden they play the game. And what's the reward for the game, right? Well, the reward is all you got to do is just stay here, blood. And guess what? We're going to take you to the steak dinners, and we're going to take you to all the fancy schmancies, and we're going to hook you up. And guess what? If you vote this way, I'm going to use my war chest, and I'm going to print you out the coolest little card to send out in the mail telling everybody how great you are. Now, I said all that to say this. Are these bad people? Are they just horrible, horrible people? Or are they caught up in a system, a sick, cancerous system that is designed to be this way, designed to carry out these 10-step ahead plans and what they want, right? And that's what we're really dealing with, right, guys? I mean, I feel that way. I look at people and I'm like, well, they're not a bad person. They're just a part of this game. And I guess they can't get out of it because we do have some that have the backbone, right? We've got some that will stand that line. And guess what? They get thrown down into the ground when they try to enter a House chamber, or they get censured, or they get told they can't put their name on any legislation because nobody wants to touch them because they got cooties. This is the real problem with our governments. And it's a sad state of affairs because we believe in these people and we want these people to succeed. And I believe that at least 50% of them really do. Maybe at one point in time, Chuck Payne really did care about that. He's probably a great Christian man. I don't know the man. But at some point down the line, this guy has gotten bought and paid for, and he's in his comfort zone. And if you even try to touch him, well, he's got the entire jurisdiction of mafia bosses on his side. So, this is a symptom of a very larger problem we have, and we've been asleep at the wheel. Would you guys agree?
I completely concur.
I'm sorry I went so long.
You remember the movie The Firm with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
That's a perfect, I think, an outline and an example of how our government works at state level, your local level, and certainly at your federal level. Look at Dan Crenshaw.
Oh my God!
I was just like I was like, oh yeah. And now this clown, oh my gosh!
Right.
I would piss on him if he was on fire.
Exactly. So think about that.
Was it the system, or was it the system? Was it his character originally? I think it was the system. But I think you got to go in there with the backbone, knowing. And look, ultimately, sometimes you got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you one thing: I sleep good every night, and I'll never make it in politics because I sleep good every night.
Sure.
So I will continue to bark on the sidelines.
Well, we're changing the game here, guys. We got three people now that, guess what? I'm an idiot who gets up here every week and runs my mouth and is interested in this sort of thing, right? 10 years ago, if the Frost thing had happened, nobody would even know what the heck was going on. The game has changed now where we are expecting a change, right? And that's what we're coming up to in 2026. But I don't know. I have to check my bank account every time I get gas. That's the way I am. That's the way I'm going to be. I don't know what it's. What if I got up in the office and they said, "Hey, man, if you vote yes on this bill, you'll never have to worry about gas in your car again." That's psychologically. You got to understand that this is a game. We're trying to break this game, but that's what this is all about, man. These. Give me cold
with
chills.
Social media, we've all but destroyed mainstream media.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Mainstream media is just nothing more than a mad magazine.
Yes.
Now it's entertaining to watch.
Well,
That's about it.
It always was. Now we can see past that curtain.
Yeah, but we're not nearly enough people are taking it seriously at this point.
Oh yes, that's correct.
And so and this is how we do it. This is how we do it, one by each. Talk to a person, get them involved. Talk to another person, bounce your ideas off of them, inform them as best you can. Some of them you can't save, but there's going to be enough of them. I'm convinced that there's enough of them that are going to be pissed off enough that we've been lied to for so long about so much.
Yeah, agreed. Lisa, you got anything to add?
I wanted to say that, after convention, I'm going to go back to convention because I wanted to mention this publicly, since we're in here talking about it. There was a lot of belittling and rah, 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 we won.
Oh, yeah.
You're stupid. You're this, you're that. You're a bad loser.
You're an enemy.
Yeah, you're an enemy. Why are you attacking conservatives?
Oh, God.
There was a lot of that, and I haven't seen Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it lately.
Oh
I mean, I
no,
don't know if that has to.
the table got flipped.
Yeah, yeah. Well, somebody went to the Home Depot and bought some of that defrosting stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, that that to me is you scream unity, but you're punching me in the face while you're screaming unity. I have a problem with that.
Sure, I said it before. I said, the ones that pretend like they stand with the ones that are actually bucking the system, they're stabbing them in the back, and the ones that they say they can't stand that are the establishment, they're the ones rubbing up to them, in the back doors, and it's just it's a flip flop. So
And you know what? You know what? I'll continue to rub my elbows with the grassroots folks.
I
Those are my
am
people.
I'm a peasant,
Yep, me
born and
too.
raised a peasant, will
Me
stay
too.
a peasant.
Proud peasant.
Proud peasant.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's get back to comments. Peach State, good to see you, Peach State. I miss you. Says, I've been kicked off completely 3 times. Facebook loved me. Yes, she's had a lot of problems. So good to see you, Earl Klein from Northwest Georgia. And loves you too, says some elderly people don't know it's fake. She's talking about the scams, right? And yeah, that's true, guys. I wanted to touch on that a little bit, but we're running out of time. But yeah, you guys better watch these scammers, man. Some of them get really creative.
Absolutely.
Angela Rubino, our state committee. She says, hey, good to see you. And let me go down a little bit here. Noreen Canner, my hero. She says, hello, y'all. Love the swamp. Lisa, love the swamp donkeys. You want to tell everybody what the swamp donkeys is?
Yeah, the swamp donkey is, you hear rhino, but a swamp donkey is a step beyond that. So you're basically a Democrat and you're a swamp Democrat, but you're beyond the rhino.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're beyond. It's like a step above. It's like a level up.
You got your
the
shirt handy?
rhino.
You got your shirt handy?
I
Yeah.
do not. I do not have my shirt.
It's a
handy,
good-looking
but
shirt.
If you saw me if you saw me at a convention, I wore
That's
an
right.
anti-swamp donkey shirt.
There you go.
I think you sent me a picture of it.
All right. Hardy Strawberry Taylor says, I don't care if you like me or not, but I'm MAGA all the way. And, I agree. I'm MAGA. Hey, make America great again. America first. Donald Trump all the way. We'll just have to, I'm going to have to let him scold me a little bit, and I'm just going to keep on talking back. That's all there is to it. I can't make it any plainer. So, Noreen Canner says, absolutely. Loves you too, says, follow the light. Always agree with that. This is a good one. Jeff Edwards, thank you for watching. Too much drama in politics takes away what is important. I don't disagree with that statement, but we also got to look at where the drama is coming from. I mean, we're always going to be in snarl, just like Nick said earlier. There's always going to be a distraction. There's always going to be something going on, especially now. I don't know I know about you two, but it just seems like we can't even catch a break. I tried to stay off social media all day yesterday. And it's like I turn on the first post I see, I'm like, oh my God, it's just something every single day, right?
Yeah.
Well, when dealing with social media too, and one thing that I found that helps me, so through the years, I've tried to make obviously these connections with real people through using the social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I feel like I need to disconnect,
Yeah.
I still have that connection. I can still talk to people like Roy. I can still talk
Yes.
to people like Lisa without thoroughly immersing myself into the toxicity that is social media.
Sure.
But it's going to take a while, for us to completely flip over social media. I mean, you stream regularly on Zuckerbuck's platforms, and there's still so many people that are just completely blind to what is going on.
Right.
So we got a lot of work to do, but I haven't found a good enough reason to abandon it
Right.
yet. And for what it's worth, MAGA is a movement, and it's been around a whole lot longer than Trump. Trump just relit it or whatever. Trump is not synonymous with MAGA. MAGA is simply make America great again. You can be a Democrat and still be on board with make America great again. Just see the error of your ways. And
I think you could be, but the first step would be I got to stop being one. I don't know. then again, the uniparty is strong. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I know, and look, and my lovely wife was like one of the most apolitical people I think when we were dating, and that was it wasn't really a point of contention, but she didn't understand why I spent as much time as I did focusing on politics, and regardless of whether or not you consider yourself political or not, if you function in the real world, if you interact, if you buy gas, if you take your kids to school, if you have a job and pay taxes, politics affects you. And so you can be apolitical, you can be non-political. Oh, I just don't, deal with politics. But you have to understand that when you categorize yourself as that, you are also removing yourself from any solution, any better situation. Because when you're not paying attention to what's being done to you, you're complicit in allowing it. So you do need to take a side because it affects you. It affects your children. It affects your family. It affects your livelihood, your job. It affects everything around you. Yes. And so at some point you will need to take accountability for your part in it.
Yes. Yes, and I agree with you. You can't stay silent. You can't sit on your hands, and eventually you're going to have to. And the world is naturally evolving into a situation where people used to not even focus on property taxes and income taxes, and now we've got this massive inflation and property tax rise. And now people are getting mad, and I'm like, hey, come on, get some skin in the game. Let's fix this, right? All right, man, we've got some more. So I'm going to cut the comments a little bit down because we just have so many good ones. Let's see here. Hardy says nothing is going to change until someone is held accountable and put in jail. We got to see it. Loves You Too said the blackmail in the music industry is huge. Yeah, I would like to really go through that one of these days. The Tavistock industry and MK Ultra and especially there's a lot of stuff there. Hardy says our creator is always in control. Let's see. There's a lot of good comments from Jeff. Jeff thinks that the Epstein list is a waste of time. I don't think it's a waste of time, but I'm the same with everybody else. Like at this point, what do we do? And I did not open up this can of worms. It wasn't the people that said that this list was on the desk and the phase one and we're thousands and we're going to bring it and we weren't the ones that did this. And I guess we're reacting to it. So what do we do? So honestly, I can't never say this a waste of time, especially if we could get it some accountability from it. But you are right, Jeff, that there are major distractions right now. Do you guys
agree? I think it was Billy Joel that said, "We didn't start the fire."
Exactly. Very, very true. So Richard Schroeder, good to see you tonight. And Bill Rainey's here with us. Also, Richard says, America needs justice for what the government, Republicans, Democrats did to President Trump and our country. I can't agree more. We want justice, right? I don't want this to be. I don't think any of us just want this to be a mouthpiece and be like, oh, we got him. No. What did Trump post the other day? The AI video, they come in and get Obama. That's what I want. Okay.
No, I want to see a perp walk.
I want a perp walk.
I want to see accountability.
A court case. I want prison time. That's what I want, okay? And I'll believe it when I see it. So,
100%.
Dorothy Michelle's with us. Say, woohoo, hey, Goldilocks. Talking to you, Lisa. Let's see here. All right, guys.
That's Mama Dot. That's Mama Dot.
Man, I'm missing some good comments. I hate to skip them, but we're already an hour and a half, you guys. So, let's see. Real quick, Nick Ware, I'll catch one of his. He says he agrees, Antonio, they were stealing in the name of the Lord. Special place in hell for people like that. Well, yeah. You think? Yeah. Richard Schroeder says SEB meeting next Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going on Wednesday. I want to meet our new executive director, James Mills. Wow, that's next Wednesday. I might holler at you, Richard, and see what I can do.
Oh, I need to talk to Richard, too.
Yeah, I'd like to see if maybe I could help, at least maybe do something. Richard says, Mark Swanson will be speaking at our MAGA Golden Corral meeting in Gainesville. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I want to see what day that is. I may make the trip up there or over there to Gainesville to see that. So, Antonio says, true, God will not be mocked, and that is very true. And yes, controlled chaos and first time or two, which is what you were talking about. Let's see. Noreen says, always stand up for what is right, even if you have to stand alone. I mean, that's what we're here doing. And that's what we're here expecting. That's what you're expecting to Chuck Payne. And like, it's the glory days are over. The smoke-filled rooms are over. At some point, we're going to have to fix this. And we cannot sustain what we're going through right now. Oh,
But they will continue to pass the buck as often as they can.
Yeah. Amen to that. Let's see. Effingham Guardian, good to see you guys. Let's see. Jan Sheffield, thank you for watching. Carol Streeter, she's late, but I'm here. Watch it all. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Georgia Patriot Girl, they can scream unity all they want, but we are not unifying with corruption. Kenya Emerson says, okay, says my family love. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael Proctor, late getting on, but not sure if anyone mentioned Mark Swanson. Got a standing ovation from the audience at the commission meeting last night from the audience. I heard about it. I haven't got to watch it yet, but Mark Swanson is near and dear to our hearts. His story is incredible, and we're going to continue to support him in every way that we can. And Carol Streeter says, let me give you a laugh. Every time I open my Facebook, there is Chris Carr, so please tell me how that happens. Chris Carr, that's a joke, all right? That's one person that's a total joke, but we won't go there. So, all right, thanks, everybody, for the comments. I hate having to skip over everything, but we're running a little bit late, so I'm going to give my guests the last word, and then we're going to get off here. So I'm going to start with you, Lisa. Last comment for the audience.
So I just want everybody to do me a favor. I want you to go and I want you to completely research all your candidates. Everybody that you vote for, you research them and you see what their goal is, their long-term goal. You see what their ethics and their values and what they really stand for. If they're already elected, I'm going to give the freedomindex.org a plug because that is an amazing app.
Yeah.
There's several other ones out there. I think Mallory Staples has one. I don't know it right off the top of my head. There's, like I said, there's several other ones. 2, never let anybody tell you to sit down and shut up. Ever.
Amen.
You continue to speak out. If you're speaking out, if you're afraid to speak out, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Come hold my hand. I'll show you how.
There you go. Lisa, where can people find your social media?
So I'm going to give you one of my accounts on TikTok. So I'm on TikTok. I am Nobody Beyond Duct Tape, one word. I am on X. Goldilocks, I believe, is what I'm under on X, I think. I may be wrong about that. I may have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
And of course, Lisa Adams on Facebook, and I do Rumble and all that other stuff, but I don't really I don't even think I know him.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for being with us, Lisa. I really had fun tonight. Smatterchew.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, absolutely. Smatterchew, you get the last word.
Well, thanks very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on anything with Lisa. Really brings a really cool aspect to every conversation. And obviously I have a little bit of affinity for her because she actually got me more involved where I feel like I'm actually making a difference. No matter where you are, where you're listening from, understand your local politics, understand who has been put into place. And these are not leaders. Okay. They are elected representatives. And when they stop representing you, that's when you replace them. The most powerful representative you have in your area and overall is your sheriff. Go find out about your sheriff. If your sheriff understands the oath he swore to the Constitution, have a conversation with him. Buy him a cup of coffee. Sit across and have a lunch with him. Understand who you have put in place because he is going to be an advocate for you if he understands his oath to the Constitution. And if they don't understand their oath to the Constitution, get them out of there and get somebody in there who does understand their oath to the Constitution.
Amen.
Most of my politics and my political stuff, you can find me on TikTok. It's Smatterchew, Smatterchew. There's a 1.0, 4.0, 8.0, and then there's also a Lunachew, my little 10-pound shit, too. She has her own account. But you can find it there. Most of my political content you're going to find on TikTok. For the scammer reveal type stuff, you can find on Instagram. I believe it's Daddy Smatterchew on Instagram, and then it bleeds over into Facebook. So you can catch a lot of that on Facebook as well, which is Smatterchew Anthony. Just go check it out and see what you think, and keep your head on a swivel when it comes to these people DMing you. 99.99999% of anybody who sends you a cold DM does not have your best interest in mind. If you don't already know them and you're not intending to just mess with them, just delete it.
Yeah, right.
But you can go and enjoy and see how I handle them.
Yes, it's very entertaining. So, well, guys, I appreciate both of y'all. I hope this was a little bit different show tonight. It felt different. It felt right. Just kind of having some fun in this clown show. We've got serious things, but, these are just two people that are watching it just like myself unfold, and we're trying to make sense of all this. So, again, we appreciate all the support out there. You can go to givesendgo.com/smalltownunderground and support me there. That's the only donation link. I am working on a website and shop and whatnot, and we do have the Patriot Camp out coming, and the new date is October the 4th. I've already updated it, and I think we got even better plans that we moved it back. But again, thank y'all for spending your evening with me. I hope, I pray and hope that everybody has a great weekend and a good week, and we'll be back here Wednesday night, Lord willing. And you guys just stay on the line, and I'll see y'all later.
Hey everybody, Small Town Underground here, and I'd like for you to check out libertylaughs.net. This is a website that supports grassroots patriots, and it has all kinds of stuff in it, like rings, coins, t-shirts, tank tops, both in men's and women's sizes, different sort of accessories, even patriotic stuff, like look at these sneakers, Don't Tread on Me sneakers. Those are pretty cool. And door knockers, and look, they even have a Trump phone case, which is really, really cool. So anytime you go to this site, you're actually supporting the grassroots patriot community. So I hope you guys will go to check out libertylaughs.net and see what they have to offer.